Hi, within this lecture we're going to finalize our opt parsing here, and we're going to see how to just process the data that we get from the user input. In order to do that, let me add the second option as well, which is our MAC address, right? So I'm going to do this a little bit faster than before. So I have to specify the arguments. First of all, I am going to call this M for MAC address, and with two dashes, I will say MAC, okay? And this is okay for arguments. Now I have to specify a destination. So for dest, I will say MAC address, like I said below here, and they have to be identical, remember? So MAC underscore address, and then I will specify an help in here. I will say MAC address to change or something, new MAC address, for example. So after specifying this, actually I'm done with the parse objects, okay? Actually I'm done with the options here. But after the options, I want to get the input data and then process it and then use it in my own code. So let me print this and see how to get it. So in order to do this, I will say parse object dot parse arguments, okay? So let me print this only, and let me save this file and then test it if we made everything right. So what will happen, the interface will not be ETH0 anymore, because we don't need this line, because we're going to get the user input, and we're going to use the user input in subprocess.call. But we have to just process it first. So let me just comment out this line actually, so that we can see it better and we won't get any errors. So let me put hashes in here. Later on I will delete them. So we will work only with parse option, parse arguments. So let me try this MAC address and interface thing. So how do we do it? I will say Python my macchanger.py again. And of course I have to add this I and then specify the ETH0, for example, or WLAN0, whatever you are working with, and then the MAC address with -m, and then with a space I will specify 001122334455. If I hit enter, as you can see, I get this result in here. So I printed out the parse object and I get something like a dictionary. It looks like a dictionary, right? Interface ETH0, MAC address, and this is the input that we have given. So I have to get these lines, I have to get these inputs in order to just use it in my code. So if it's a real dictionary, if I say interface with a square braces, it should give me the interface. So before we do that, let me try this as well. --interface ETH0 --mac to specify the MAC address and see if this works as well, because we have specified this argument as well. Yeah, it works. Interface ETH0 MAC address is the same as we have given. So as I said before, I have to process this input and get the user input and use it on my own. So first of all, let me try and get these inputs by using dictionary features. So we have worked with dictionaries before, right? So what did we do? We have used some square braces to get the relevant data. So let me cast this to a variable here, okay, say option dictionary rather than parse dictionary, okay, option dictionary, and this is going to be equal to parse object dot parse arguments. So rather than printing this out, I will try to print out option dictionary and open a brace here. Okay, so let me just first of all, let me try to print this and see if it works. Yeah, it's printing. I'm getting this. Okay, so no worries in this step. I'm still getting the ETH0 and the MAC address that I have specified. So let me go back and try to get one of these inputs like MAC address. Okay, MAC underscore address. So let me save this once more and then go back and try to run this. So if I run this, I will get an error. So as you can see, I have a type error in which I get this message. It says that tuple indices must be integers, not string. So at this point, I understand that this isn't even a dictionary, okay? This is a tuple. And if you go and read the documentation, you will see that this parseArgs method actually returns a tuple, not a dictionary. So we have to treat this like a tuple, and it's actually a tuple, and we are trying to treat this as a dictionary, so this won't work. So if you go and read the documentation, you will see that this is a tuple and it returns two values in the tuple. Okay, so you have to do it like this. Open a parenthesis if you please, and you can do it without parentheses as well, and this will give me user inputs and the arguments. Okay, so I have to get the user inputs, and I can get the user inputs from this point on easily, right? So this will contain the user inputs in the first element of the tuple and the arguments in the second element of the tuple. So let me try this. Let me print this, and first I want to print the user inputs dot interface. Okay, and it works like this. So it is stored with the destination name. So you can reach the destination interface by saying that user inputs dot interface, and the other one with user inputs dot MAC underscore address. So now I can get the user inputs with a simple line here. So let me try this. Now I'm running the same command here, ETH0 and MAC address to be this, and as you can see, I get the ETH0 in one line and the MAC address in another line. So at this point you might think to yourself, yeah, you knew this and you handled it well, but we didn't know that. Yeah, you're right, and I'm teaching you how to use it, but the other option is that you go and read the documentation. So this is the beauty of Python actually. So it has a lot of modules, packages, and libraries that you can use, and you can find documentation easily online and use it on your own code. So interface will be saved in here, and the MAC address will be saved in here. So now I can get these values and use it on my own subprocess.call, right? So it's really simple. After that point, I suggest you pause the video and try to finish on your own. Just take these inputs and use it on your own code. I hope you managed to do that, so let me do it with you once more. I'm going to just delete these hashes, okay, so they're active again, and I don't need these interface and MAC address variables anymore because I can get directly from user inputs.interface, right? So rather than saying interface, and we don't have any interface at this point, I will say user inputs.interface, or I can just make this equal to a variable called user interface or something, okay, like this. User interface is now user input dot interface, and this is user MAC or user MAC address, whatever you want, okay, and this is going to be equal to user input dot MAC address. So now I have to change this to user underscore interface, okay, in these 3 lines all together, user interface, user interface, user interface. And rather than saying MAC address, let me do this as user MAC address. So now we are actually ready to take the user input and put it into use in our own code. So let me try this. Okay, so I'm going to call Python my macchanger.py, and I'm going to specify the interface like eth0 and the MAC address to be 111111222222. And if I hit enter, yeah, it gave me an error, cannot assign the requested address. So it really didn't change. So let me try this once more, because I believe the MAC addresses cannot start with this 11 thing. So rather than saying 11, let me say 00. Now it didn't give me any error. So let me do ifconfig once more. And as you can see, it really changed my MAC address. So we have completed the part 1 for our Macchanger software. But believe me or not, this is not a good Python code. We can make it better, and we will do it better with introducing some new methods within the next lecture.